The Bears have migrated south to Tampa Bay, hoping to reel in another win for Iron Mike Ditka, while Ray Perkins hopes his young Bucks are ready to bear down.
Tampa Stadium is sold out with Buccaneer and Bear fans this afternoon on a beautiful day as the Chicago Bears, undefeated at 4-0, take on the much-improved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A gorgeous day indeed. Temperature 85 degrees. It is humid at 67%. The wind is gusting, and the forecast says 30% chance of rain before this day is over. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, along with my partner, Dan Fouts, and a big victory on Monday night for the Bears against the Philadelphia Eagles, and now 6 days later, they got to go against another team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's the mindset of the Bears coming in?
Well, it is a short week, Dick, and Mike Ditka told us that he didn't feel his ball club got on track until Friday. That was a very emotional, a very physical game against the Eagles, and he's a little concerned that the Bears will have a little bit of a letdown. But one thing about Mike Ditka that makes him probably the best coach in the NFL is he wins games within his division. He's beaten these Bucks 12 in a row.
He really takes it out on the poorer clubs in the league, although Tampa Bay, as we said, is improved. Down here especially, they almost beat the 49ers. They did beat the New Orleans Saints, and what must they do to upset the Bears today?
Well, Ray Perkins has come under a little bit of heat from the media and his quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, for not opening up his offense. They're averaging just 15 points per game, but today, because of the way the Bears play defense, Perkins feels he's got to throw the ball, throw deeper routes, have Testaverde back in the shotgun. The one thing Perkins wants to do today is to force the Bears to play from behind, to force the Bears to play catch-up football.
That would be something unusual for the Bears, who have won the last 12 games in this series. That's the longest streak in the NFL going right now, and that's gotten under the Bucks' craw. Donald Igwebuike will be kicking off as the Bears have won the toss and they will receive. Dennis Gentry is to the top of your picture and rookie Mark Green to the bottom. Tampa in white and the Bears wearing the navy blue uniforms for the first time ever here in Tampa Stadium. And it'll be Gentry running it out from the end zone. And he gets just to beyond the 20-yard line where Sam Ano makes the stop. Mike Tomczak, who engineered the victory against the Philadelphia Eagles with precision, passed for 266 yards against the Eagles, and his offense, an experienced offensive line. Jim Covert, Mark Bortz, Jay Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, and Keith Van Horn. James Thornton, the tight end. Neil Anderson returns to Florida. He played college ball here. Matt Suey is at fullback. Dennis McKinnon and Ron Morris, the wide receivers, and the others on nickel situations. And now Brad Muster, who is not scheduled to start, is in the backfield on first down. Here's Anderson. He gets a couple. Ricky Reynolds from the secondary making the stop. The Bucks defense, and it has been a good one. Up front, Reuben Davis, Sean Lee in place of the injured Kurt Jarvis and Robert Goff, the linebackers, and they have been the stars. Kevin Murphy, Eugene Marv, Irvin Randall, and Winston Moss. Ricky Reynolds and Rod Jones are the cornerbacks. Harry Hamilton and a bruised Mark Robinson, the strong safety. Hamilton has been shaken up. Second down and 8. Cap Bozo is the tight end here. On the delay, Anderson gets stuffed. Reuben Davis, and a loss of a yard or so.
That's the first big play for the Buck defense, and as you mentioned, Dick, they have played extremely well, especially their linebackers. They are a mobile group. They're big, they're strong, they get to the ball, and they play a conservative type of defense with some real subtle changes up front. You just saw one right there where they worked the type of a game to get Reuben Davis free to make that tackle.
Now the Bears bring in Gentry and Wendell Davis, 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 11. Out of the shotgun, Tomczak's pass is caught by Gentry, but they don't get it up to the 25, and Ricky Reynolds makes the tackle, and it's 4th down. Bears will kick.
Real nice job by the Bucs defense that time, knowing that it was 3rd and 11, playing a nice soft zone, taking away all the deeper routes for Tom Zach. He had to work it down to the shorter receiver, and they don't pick up the first down.
Maury Buford will be punting for the Bears. Back to receive for Tampa Bay is Bobby Futrell. The Bucs, the youngest team in the National Football League, trailing the Bears by 2 games coming into this contest. Short kick. And it hit a player, and it'll be down in great field position for Tampa Bay. That was only a 29-yard kick for Maury Buford. So Vinny Testaverde, who was under tremendous pressure last week against the Minnesota Vikings' fierce defense. Look at those numbers. 6 for 23. His offensive line, Paul Gruber and Mike Simmons, along with Randy Grimes, John Bruin, and Rob Taylor. William Harris starts at tight end for Ron Hall. Lars Tate and William Howard are the running backs. Mark Carrier and Bruce Hill, the wide receivers. We'll see some of Willie Drury as well. Vinny to throw on first down, and the pass is complete. It was caught by William Howard, and making the tackle is Jim Morrissey. The Bears defense, Trace Armstrong, Steve McMichael, William Perry, and Richard Dent. They're going to miss Dan Hampton. Ron Rivera, Mike Singletary, and Jim Morrissey are the starting linebackers. Lemuel Stinson and Bestie Jackson are the cornerbacks. Sean Gale and Dave Durson the safeties, with Tate and Lynch available in nickel situations. There's Singletary, up against the run, 2nd and 8. Wide open, up the middle. Bruce Hill, and a first down into Bear territory, and a gain of 16. Stinson makes the stop.
We'll take a look at this from the end zone. Bruce Hill is going to be on the right side of the screen, and he's going to come down and run across the middle. But Perkins told us before the game that he feels that every time the Bears come up with 8 men on the line of scrimmage, that they are going to audible to the pass, and that's what Testaverde has done twice so far. Little motion here, then Hill finds the seam right over the middle. That's a busted coverage by the Bears.
So it's a first down on the Bear 35. On a play-action pass, and that one is caught inside the 25 by Mark Carrier. And Mike Singletary is shaken up. An 11-yard gain, another first down. How much will this heat, although that was not a heat situation, affect the Bears, do you think, today?
Well, you mentioned how much the Bears are going to miss Dan Hampton. Now, if Mike Singletary can't go, then you've got a problem with the middle of the defense with the 2 end zones. This is Mike Singletary, number 50, and he's going to be in the pass coverage here. And I believe he'll be back. He's trotted off the field. He's in good shape here.
He's replaced by Mickey Pruitt, so Singletary getting a breather, and I think you're right. He will be back.
But getting back to that, they will rotate Perry and Dick Chapura and McMichael at that tackle position.
Here's Lars Tate with his first carry of the game, and he gets to the 20-yard line, a gain of 4. Jim Morrissey making the tackle for the Chicago Bears.
Well, no sooner did he just get a breather than he's back in there. Mike Singletary back in to the lineup, and that really is good news for Bear fans because he really sets the tempo for this defense.
And you mentioned Hampton. His leadership is going to be missed, and a lot of times he's double-teamed because of his inside rushing ability. 2nd down and 6 at the 20 for Tampa Bay. Testaverde has another completion inside the 10-yard line. That's once again to Bruce Hill. Another first down.
One of the patterns that the Bucs do very well is a quick slant to the wide receivers. Testaverde just 3 steps back, reading the safety, and he throws his ball a bit behind Hill, but he makes the grab in front of Stinson. Bucs are opening it up just like Perkins promised.
Even Vinny Testaverde said last week, when asked if his offense was a little too conservative, he says the coach calls the plays. Ask him. First and 10 on the 10. They can get a first down without scoring. Plenty of time for Testaverde. And his pass is caught for the touchdown by Mark Carrier. It was intended for Lars Tate, deflected off of Tate, and a touchdown for Tampa Bay.
Well, take a look at Mark Carrier in the end zone here. He is a recipient of quite a gift here, number 88. Tate is number 34. He runs into the flat pattern here, and the ball deflects off his hands and heads up Mark Carrier for the touchdown.
Talk about a gift. There was a big one, and for Carrier, his second touchdown reception of the year.
Against the 49ers earlier this year, he made a big reception on a deflected pass that set him up for their go-ahead touchdown at that time in the fourth quarter. So he's an alert fella.
And he has become the leading receiver on this team and Testaverde's favorite target. Now Donald Igwebuike for the extra point. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have moved out in front 7-0 over the Chicago Bears, scoring on their first possession and looking good doing it.
I was feeling pretty good when I saw my boy Joe in that new Oldsmobile. I thought Joe'd finally matured some. But that new Cutlass Clay doesn't look like any Oldsmobile that I ever had. It's got something called a high output quad 4 engine. The next thing you know, Joe will be bringing home girls.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is a new generation of old.
Now get up to a $1,600 cash bonus on a 1990 Cutlass Calais. See your Olds dealer today.
I was always the quarterback's favorite target. I never dropped the ball because I had hands like glue. And even after football, I stick with my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less-filling beer that tastes great.
Why, not again.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Dwight.
Hey, there's no catch. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have stunned the Bears with a 7-0 lead. Mark Carrier, an 11-yard touchdown reception. And now Donald Igwebuike will be kicking off. Back deep for the Bears is Dennis Gentry and Mark Green. Gentry on the left. Over toward Gentry's side, and this will sail into the end zone for a touchback.
Let's take a look at this lucky bounce for the Buccaneers here. Testaverde, you'll notice, has absolutely perfect protection as he's deep in the pocket here, but he throws the ball a little bit too high for Lars Tate as he's working against Morrissey, number 51. Now, what I want you to notice is how Carrier gets his hands under this ball and then bounces it up to himself to make it clear to the officials that he had it before it hit the ground, and it is a touchdown.
Good alert play by Mark Carrier. Penalty marker was thrown and then picked up, so the Bears start from the 20-yard line. Mike Ditka told you that the team didn't really have it together till Friday, kind of late in the week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and a short punt, 29-yard punt from Maury Buford doesn't help the cause any either.
First and 10 on the 20. They send Bozo way out to the left. And the pass up the middle, knocked down. It was intended for Muster out of the backfield, and Eugene Marv was defending on the play.
Eugene Marvin is going to be defending on a lot of plays today. He's really the Mike Singletary of this Tampa Bay defense. But Mike Tomczak, talking to him yesterday, you get such a good feeling talking to him about how he's playing. He's a confident young guy, and I really believe he feels very fortunate to be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. They have a tremendous history of great quarterbacks.
and they're not depending on him to win the game.
Great supporting cast.
First down, make it 2nd and 10 on the 20. Tomczak with time, and the pass is caught, complete out of bounds. It was Gentry, and that'll be close and good enough for a Bear first down, 13 yards. Rod Jones on the stop.
We'll notice that Tomczak is getting pretty good pass protection as well. You said he had time, Dick, and he has all day to throw. He comes to about his 4th choice on this pass. This is the deep comeback by Gentry on the outside against Rod Jones, and this is a first down.
Nearly 5 minutes elapsed in the first quarter, 7-0 in favor of Tampa Bay. Trying to break a 12-game losing streak to the Bears. Again with time on first down. Overthrowing Gentry again. Slant pattern.
It appears that Tomczak wanted the receiver to continue on his pattern. Oftentimes, the receiver will have a couple of different choices as to what to do depending on the defense. That time, the Buccaneers came up with a zone defense. The receiver sat down in the hole, but he was covered. Tomczak wanted to continue down, perhaps to the next hole, because there are different spots on the field that you just can't cover.
One thing about Tampa Bay's defense, and even the Niners told us that last week, they play hard every down. They don't let up at all, and it's paid off for them. Swing pass to Muster. Brad Muster stopped at the 36-yard line, about 7 yards shy of a first down. Irvin Randall making the tackle. Muster was not expected to play. He's been out with a back injury. Matsui was scheduled to go, but here he is. Muster has played every down thus far.
And this is one of the things that Muster does probably better than a lot of fullbacks in the league. He's got great hands. Catches the ball well out of the backfield. He might even be a tight end one day. He's got that type of size. He might even be better as a tight end.
3rd down and 7. Butrell and Elder are extra backs for Tampa Bay. Tomczak's pass nearly intercepted by Butrell, and he would have been gone. Pass was intended for Dennis McKinnon, and it's 4th down. They said there'd be a lot of Bear fans today amongst the 74,000 plus, but we can only hear the cheers of the Buccaneer fans.
They've got a lot to cheer about. Their defense is playing very well.
Laurie Buford will kick. Butrell goes back to receive. Better kick this time from Buford. And the Bears will down it just about at the 30-yard line. That was a 34-yard kick by Buford. Fontenot downed it for Chicago. So once again, the Buccaneers will go on attack against Mike Ditka's crew, leading 7-0.
I'm tired of us sinners getting no recognition. I played 13 seasons in front of millions of fans, made All-Pro twice, and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is. Miller Lite. An All-Pro center doesn't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great. Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Trofeo, Trofeo. It's a new generation and we want a new wood.
Sequential port, fuel injection, anti-lock brakes.
Paydays come and we want a new boat.
Visual information center, handles great.
This Oldsmobile is not our father's.
New generation for the sons and daughters.
Trofeo. This is the new generation of Oldsmobile.
Because there's a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there's a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there's a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she'll open her own clinic. Because every investor is different, with dreams all their own. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. Dean Witter, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have scored only 3 points in the first quarter coming into this game. They've already surpassed that total, and they're doing a pretty good job through the air, which they didn't do against Minnesota last week.
Testaverde only completed 6 passes in the entire game last week. This first drive, he completed 5. I think he likes this type of offense. This is what he's used to when he was at the University of Miami, throwing it almost every down.
Starting from the 31 of Tampa Bay. An audible called by Testaverde. Tate. Lars Tate gets 2 or 3 yards. And the tackle made by Trace Armstrong, former University of Florida star.
This is the type of offense Ray Perkins prefers, though. This is the bloody nose type of offense. Giving the ball to your best runner, Lars Tate, in behind your best blocking back, William Howard, who goes about 250 pounds, so you've got a lot of smash mouth football coming if Ray Perkins has his way.
Armstrong and Wolford. I know Wolford has heard 2 rookies breaking into the Bear defensive starting lineup this year. Second down and 7. Pass is caught, and that'll be the tight end, William Harris. Sean Gale makes the stop. So Harris, a big burly tight end, makes the catch, and it's close and good enough for a first down for the Bucs.
Number 86, William Harris, is on the left side of our screen here. This is the down and out pattern working against Sean Gale, man to man. Fine throw by Testaverde, put it right on the receiver. And here's a good matchup we'll see all day long. Paul Gruber, number 74, working against Richard Dent, and Gruber gets the best of Dent on this one.
Tampa Bay first down on the 42. Play fake going up top. Hill. Bruce Hill to the 15 of Chicago, and a gain of 41. Lemuel Stinson made the tackle.
The Bucs felt that if they were going to go deep, that they could go deep against Lemuel Stinson. Here is Mark Hill, or Bruce Hill rather, getting deep against Stinson on a double move type of play, and again Testaverde is throwing very well. That ball is right on the money.
Vinny Testaverde is a perfect 7 for 7 on the day, and a big catch, 41-yard gain, and it's 1st and 10 on the 17th. It was Harris, defended by Singletary. That's the first incompletion of the day, thrown by Vinny Testaverde. He is now 7 for 8 on the afternoon, but the Buccaneers are threatening to score again, leading the Bears 7-0 here with 6:50 remaining in the first quarter, in a real shocking first quarter of play.
Well, I think that Dick has fears about his team coming out being a little flat. That's exactly what appears to be happening. The Bears are not getting any pressure on Testaverde. That's usually one way you can tell about your team's emotional state, is how good a pass rush you're getting.
The Bears don't blitz. Lars Tate inside the 15-yard line. William Perry makes the tackle. It's going to be an interesting day for William Perry today, who's going at 300, I don't know how many pounds, but playing in the heat and having to play a lot as another Chicago Bear lineman is down. That may be Trace Armstrong. We'll see.
Well, the Bears are real thin at defensive line now with Hampton out. And if Armstrong can't go, then they've got to go with the rookie Tony Woods at that defensive end spot. And, you know, getting back to Perry, it is 85% humidity out here today. They're wearing those dark jerseys. He's not in this type of shape, obviously, that
how can you say
Dick
that?
wouldn't want him to be. But he is a compassionate young man. There he's taking care of the rookie Trace Armstrong. Armstrong is second in from the left here, number 93. We'll check out how he gets injured. Again, it's just straight-ahead football from the Buccaneers, man-on-man blocking. And there's one leg exposed. But it appeared that the entire pile fell on top of him, maybe knocked the wind out of him. Let's hope that's all it is.
Working on his ankle. Dan Hampton had the 9th knee surgery of his career, and he'll be out at least 6 weeks, and he's already said this may be his last year.
And what the Bears missed when Hampton out of there is tremendous leadership. He's the guy that, along with Singletary and Doerson, hold that football team together. He kind of is in charge of that defensive line. And this is a rough sign seeing Armstrong being helped off the field here. But I'm not sure that Perry should be helping him. He's got enough work ahead of him today without having to carry a guy 260 pounds off the field.
Extra lifting for Perry. John Roper, a rookie linebacker who was impressive against the Eagles as a pass rusher on the side opposite Richard Dent out of Texas A&M, has come in to replace Armstrong, and Dick Shapura is also in there replacing Perry.
Well, maybe that's why Perry helped him off the field to get a breather.
He knew he was coming out. Willie Drury is the third wide receiver for the Buccaneers. 3rd down and 6. James Wilder, the running back, on the 13. Testaverde to the 5. He's got a 1st down and almost gets into the end zone. Stinson stopped him. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. A gain of 12.
This is the first good pressure from the Bear defense. They come with the blitz here. Roper on the outside and Dent with a loop into the middle. But look at how the defensive backs for the Bears are nowhere to be seen because they're in man coverage. And now Testaverde shows us his strength, almost stretching to get in that end zone.
It is 1st and goal, and the Bucs will go with 3 tight ends. Jackie Walker, Harris, and Ron Hall. And the first back through, and he may not have made it, is William Howard, the fullback. And now he said he crossed the plane, and it's a touchdown for Tampa Bay.
The Bucs get in the end zone because they use their heads a little bit here. Watch the penetration from the Bear defensive line. Not much. They give the ball to Howard. He goes low. It's a fake to Tate over the top. And only the Gophers know for sure if he got in.
It looked like he moved that pile a couple of yards for the touchdown, Howard.
250 pounds to move a lot of piles.
And Donald Igwebuike to try to add the 14th point. And he does. A stunning first quarter effort. William Howard with a touchdown, his first of the season. And Tampa Bay, lo and behold, lead the unbeaten Bears 14-0.
You know, baseball cards are real popular these days. For one Ron Say, I can get a whole case of my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down minor league version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Hey, Ace! Give me 2 cases, you can have this baby.
Dream on.
1 case.
Nope, a 6-pack.
Half a can?
The big league light beer, Miller Lite, where less filling tastes great.
Okay, I'll give you 2 cases, and you don't have to take the card. But that's my final offer. Must have a couple of mine already.
Whoa.
Build and shape our future, we invite you to learn the technology of tomorrow while you serve your country in the Navy of today.
It's a new generation and we want a new world.
Sequential port, fuel injection, anti-lock brakes.
Paydays come and we want a new world.
Visual information center handles great.
This Oldsmobile is not our father's.
New generation for the sons and daughters.
Trofeo. This is the new generation of Oldsmobile.
When it's the big game, will the major have to call timeout?
Polly!
When he gets interference from the majorette?
Watching this game is very important to Max. It makes him happy.
You idiot!
Major Dad, Monday.
The Buccaneers lead the Bears 14-0 with 5:24 remaining in the first quarter. The scoring drive, 69 yards, and the big play was the 41-yard pass to Bruce Hill from Vinny Testaverde. And Trace Armstrong is headed for the locker room. The kickoff. It'll be Mark Green. And Green is hit hard at the 17-yard line by Pete Najarian, who was just added to the roster this week. Next Saturday, college football action on CBS. LSU Tigers go to Auburn, ranked number 11.
A couple of great quarterbacks. LSU All-SEC quarterback Tommy Hudson and Reggie Slack. Boy, is he fun to watch.
That's next Saturday. Yep, from Auburn, 2:30 Eastern on CBS Sports. SEC battle. Here's a Southeastern Conference coach who came from Alabama, Ray Perkins. First down on the 17. And Neil Anderson on first down. Gets about 2 yards. Winston Moss making the tackle. Anderson is off to a great start, but has to go against Moss. And Moss has done a great job to try to keep Broderick Thomas, the top draft pick, on the bench so far this year.
Well, and what Thomas has done is he's helped motivate both Moss and Kevin Murphy to a higher level. Murphy is playing Perkins calls Pro Bowl caliber of football. He's got 5 sacks on the year, and Winston Moss is keeping Broderick Thomas on the bench with his good play.
On the 18-yard line, 19 make it. Tomczak has to rush, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Capozzo, and pressure on Mike Tomczak that time.
You know, Tomczak has been protected very, very well this year. Only 1 sack, but the Buccaneers are trying to make a change in that statistic. Good pressure right up the middle, and Tomczak just avoids the sack. Good pressure from Sean Lee.
Lee, not even a starter. Kurt Jarvis, the key nose tackle, out with a turf toe. Lee looks like he's shaken up a bit. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Bears. 6 defensive backs for Tampa Bay. Tomczak has McKinnon. Fumble. And the Bucs may have it. We'll wait. Tampa Bay recovers the McKinnon fumble. Harry Hamilton made the recovery.
The Buccaneers are going to be in a zone defense here. All 3 wide receivers are on the left side here. McKinnon's going to take the short route as Gentry clears out. The ball is on time. He's got the first down right about now, and then the ball gets stripped away by Ricky Reynolds. And the recovery by Harry Hamilton.
Hamilton has been around the ball all season long. Hamilton and Robinson, the 2 Penn State safeties.
And Ricky Reynolds had an outstanding afternoon against the 49ers, picking off 2 of Joe Montana's passes. So the Buck defense is just setting up the Buck offense in great field position.
Mike Ditka's temperature's got to be rising in the heat here in Tampa. The last time they scored on their first 2 possessions 2 years ago against the Bears, and Chicago came back to win. Meanwhile, it's the first down on the Bear 36. Testaverde going for Carrier. And Mark Carrier makes a spectacular catch, beating Vesty Jackson. 30 yards on that play.
Carrier is in motion, and he's got single coverage with Vesty Jackson. Again, you just can't give the offensive line enough credit here, as Testaverde really takes a chance with this pass. Great coverage by Jackson, but outstanding adjustment to the ball by Mark Carrier.
Already has caught 3 passes, including a touchdown. And it's 1st and goal at the Bears 6. Testaverde's pass. Penalty marker down. Morrissey interfered with Lars Tate. And if he did, it'll be 1st and goal at the 1.
No doubt about it. This is face guarding all the way.
If you move your arms in that situation, it is a face guarding foul.
Pass interference. Number 51 defense. Foul was in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
Left side of our screen, we're going to take a look at this. Right at the very end, you see that Morrissey has no idea where the ball is. He makes contact with Tate, and this is a penalty. Actually, it's a very good play on Morrissey's part because he prevented a touchdown.
And we saw Mike Ditka really yelling at Vince Tobin, his defensive coordinator in the orange shirt to the right. William Howard. No signal yet. And it appears that Howard was stopped short of the goal line, and that will bring up 2nd and goal.
I think what Ditka's upset about is the fact that Bears have been in man coverage, which would make you suspect that they're blitzing, but their blitzers aren't getting to Testaverde. The offensive line of the Buccaneers are doing a good job of holding them out, and this is freeing up the Buccaneer wide receivers and halfbacks with single coverage.
3 tight ends for the Bucs on 2nd down. Here is Tate. Over the top. And again, it appears as if the Bears had stopped him. It'll be 3rd down and about a foot away from the goal line.
Inches away as Tate was turned back by that Bear defense. And now they're going to have trouble spotting this one. Let's take a look at it from ground level. As Tate loves to go up over the top, but he is met. And his helmet was over the end zone, but the ball was back, so it's not a touchdown.
The Buccaneers have never scored 21 points in a first quarter, ever. Here is Tate. And he is stopped again. There is no fumble. The ball is blown dead and a loss of about a foot, and it was Mike Singletary and Sean Gale who came up strong to stop Tate, and it's 4th down.
Again, good job by the Bear defensive line, stuffing him. Singletary making the play along with Sean Gale. And I'm not sure that's not a touchdown with that last reach there. Another look at it. Singletary way up in the air, and Sean Gale cleans up on Tate.
But now it's 4th and less than the goal, 1 yard. Howard, he's not going to make it. The Bears stop him. Richard Dent. And a terrific goal line stand by the Chicago Bears, who take over now on down.
This is outstanding defense. 4 plays from the 1-yard line, and they don't make an inch. Howard gets stuffed by everybody.
We said Dent, but you're right. It was everybody.
Right up the middle. Howard never gets a chance to get airborne because the offensive line of the Buccaneers was pushed back so far by the Bear front wall.
A phenomenal effort by the Bears defense. Vince Tobin, their defensive coordinator.
That'll take some heat off Tobin from Ditka. He had to be patting him on the back after that goal line stand. That's unbelievable. Here you are, 1st down and goal on the 1-yard line. You try Howard twice, you try Tate twice over the top, and they don't make it.
And if you're the Buccaneers going against the Bears, you need all the points you can get.
Well, I thought that statistic about that 21 points in the first quarter was just about over. Not so.
Bears ball on their 1. Getting a yard is Matsui. And it was Mark Robinson forcing the run.
This is like goal line offense in reverse, because often you run the same type of plays to get off your goal line as you run to get into the end zone from your goal line. Very conservative down here. This is real nervous time for a quarterback.
Nonetheless, the Tampa Bay defense has played so well that even though they didn't get any points, and they were smart to gamble on 4th down to try to get a 21-point lead, their defense has been solid enough to perhaps get good field position if Tomczak can't get them out of the woods.
Well, that's what Perkins will say tomorrow.
Play action pass. Intended for Wendell Davis. Ricky Reynolds was covering him on the high pass, and that will bring up 3rd and 9.
And those two fellows we talked about for the Bucs on defense, Winston Moss and Kevin Murphy, were putting the heat on Tomczak and not allowing him the time to complete that one.
We have less than a minute to go in the first quarter. Tampa Bay leads 14-0 and have outgained the Bears to a fairly well, 152 to 38 yards in total offense. The ball is at the 2. Glenn Kozlowski is the 4th wide receiver for Chicago. And a fake. Tomczak in trouble. Fires it away, and let's see if there's an interception. There is. Mark Robinson picks it off for Tampa Bay. Dennis McKinnon was the intended receiver, and another big turnover for the Buccaneers.
Well, let's take a look at it at the end here, see if the interception is made by Robinson. Number 30 sliding in, and I'm not so sure if he was in bounds or not.
They may review that one.
I'm not so sure it was a legal pass because Tomczak rolled out, was across the line of scrimmage, and then went back the other way and made the throw. Here Tomczak is under pressure, and this is what you just can't do, is throw it late. There's Robinson with one knee out of bounds. That's not an interception.
They are looking at the tape replay. Robinson has had a terrific year with 3 interceptions. This would be the 4th. Tom Kelleher is the replay official. Bob Best, the communicator, and Art McNally, the supervisor of officials. So it's going to stick. First down on the 14 of the Bears. Lars Tate gets a couple. Bestie Jackson and Jim Morrissey that time as the clock runs down toward the end of this first quarter.
A gain of 2 yards. 2nd and 8.
So once again, the Buccaneers have a chance to get that 21 points in the first quarter, but it'll be a close call. I don't think that's paramount on Ray Perkins' mind, however.
No, I think he likes the way things are going. He is forcing the Bears to play catch-up football like he wanted to do.
And like you said, with time again, Testaverde, William Howard inside the 10-yard line will bring up 3rd and about 5. Lemuel Simpson on the tackle, and that will do it in a big first quarter. That's the end of the first quarter at Tampa Stadium with the score. The Bucs 14, the Bears nothing.
Too many people think a spark plug's a spark plug. Well, all spark plugs aren't alike. These AC copper core plugs match my car's specs like rounds in a chamber, firing up to 30 times a second for up to 30,000 miles of high revving firepower.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $8.80 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
I've made up my mind. I'm going to do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
Your marriage will never end. Your children will never grow old. The Western will never die. Capture it on an 8-hour T160, and we guarantee you a lifetime of replays and re-records. For life, for sure, forever. BASF, tape that lasts forever.
We're back here at Tampa Stadium for the start of the second quarter. This is Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts with the Buccaneers leading 14-0 They were stopped at the goal line by the Bears. It would have been 21. But now Tampa Bay is threatening again following a controversial interception by Mark Robinson.
Well, that interception sets the Bucs in great shape here.
3rd down and 4 at the 8-yard line. James Wilder is in the game. He makes the reception, and he may have a first down inside the 5. Lorenzo Lynch, the nickel back for the Bears, made the stop. Let's see where they mark it. It is a Tampa Bay first down.
I'm sure the Bears are wondering who is this ball club we're playing out here today, because they studied films of their last 3 opponents, and the Bucs have never thrown the ball or has been as wide open as they are today. Perkins felt that because of the way the Bears pressed the defensive line with 8 men up all the time, that he had to open up his offense, and he's having a tremendous amount of success with it.
1st and goal at the 3. Three tight ends for the Buccaneers. Wide open. Touchdown to one of those tight ends, William Harris.
Well, the Bucs were stopped when they tried to just run the blast play. Here they go with the play-action pass, faking the blast to Tate. There is number 86, William Harris, sneaking behind Rivera for the touchdown. Watch the fake up the middle. This freezes the linebackers and gets Harris behind Rivera deep in the end zone.
Donald Igwebuike with Chris Moore, the punter, holding. And the kick is good. I guess the fans and the team, as the penalty marker is thrown, are going to enjoy this wide open offense. Here is Bob McElwee with the penalty marker. It is against the Bears.
Offside, number 23 defense. Point is good. 5 yards on the kickoff.
Sean Gale commits the penalty, and Mike Ditka's team is seeing his world crumble around him. Early in the 2nd quarter.
They call the man Montana. Mighty Joe triple charges the Niners against the Saints. A Superdome shootout today.
For induction into the National Football League Hall of Fame, Mike Ditka.
This is it, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To be selected is the greatest honor of my life. To join men like George Halas. And because of him, I started my career as a Chicago Bear. And I'm with the Bears again. And the game I loved as a player is still in my blood as a coach. The will to win, the fire competition. They're all part of the stories that are here for you at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when you see Mike Ditka, remember that in life, just as in football, there's a lot more to winning than just wanting to. See, you have to prove yourself every day, to always give your best. You really never lose until you stop trying.
They're all here. The records, the films, the stories. At the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it. This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And by Miller Lite, official sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. Miller Lite brings you the NFL's best.
We're back at Tampa Stadium, and a sellout throng of over 74,000 in the heat has seen the Buccaneers shock the Bears, leading 21-0. And William Harris, who caught the touchdown pass from Vinny Testaverde, who has completed 12 of 13 so far, in a dramatic turnabout from a week ago.
Well, the pressure last week against the Vikings, with the Vikings defensive line of Millard and Dolman, gave the Buccaneers all kinds of problems. But they didn't expect that same type of pressure from the Bears with Hampton out.
Igwebuike will be kicking off for the Bucs. Dennis Gentry and Mark Green are back. The kick is heading for Gentry at the 5. And Gentry is down at the 26-yard line by Don Smith. That looked to us as a controversial interception by Mark Robinson that set up the last score here.
Well, let's take a look at it one more time. Now, I was always told that you had to have possession of the ball and 2 feet down. There's number 30 coming over there to put the coverage on McKinnon. There's the dive, but he slides out of bounds before he gets even one knee down. And as John Madden says, one knee equals 2 feet. But, John, that wasn't even a knee.
It was a thigh. First down at the 27. The deepest starting position for the Bears all day. Tomczak has Camposo or Thornton. James Thornton at the 30-yard line. And he doesn't get much after the catch. Irvin Randall on the stop and a pickup of only a couple.
It took a whole bunch of Tampa Bay players, though, to get him down. That's the man they call RoboCop. And Dick had told us yesterday he's really pleased with the way Thornton is improving as a runner with the ball after the catch. His run and after the catch last week against the Eagles to get in the end zone was a real eye-opener for Thornton. He could see that with a little bit of extra effort, big things can happen.
Those 5 catches were a career high for him. 2nd and 6 at the 31. And Robert Goff making the tackle. They're shy of a first down by about 2 yards as we check scores from around the league.
One thing you can be sure about the Chicago Bears is they're not going to panic in this situation. 12 minutes and a half or so to go just in the second quarter. They're down 21, but they know it's a 4-quarter game, and Dick also has a shot at this team at halftime.
And he's going to use all of it. 3rd down and 2. Here's Neil Anderson, and he stopped short. A loss of a yard. And it was Robert Goff. What do they call him?
Well, his nickname's the Pig, but I'd never call him that. His older brothers did when he was a youngster. And he got right down in the old pigsty that time and made the tackle.
The Bears, with Neil Anderson and company, have managed only 5 yards on the ground. And it's 4th down, and Maury Buford will kick it away. Bobby Futrell goes deep for the Buccaneers. And their defense has been airtight thus far. Good kick from Buford. Futrell. Penalty marker is down, and Futrell, 2 flags down, in fact, as Futrell is stopped at the 34-yard line. A 23-yard return following Buford's best kick of the day.
There are 2 flags down, and one's at about the 33-yard line, but the one that's really going to hurt the Bears is the one that's down on the 10-yard line, and it's an illegal block probably, no doubt, as we always have.
Illegal block in the back, number 78 on the return. That penalty will be declined. Illegal block in the back, number 22 on the return. That penalty will be accepted.
That's Rod Jones, illegal
Half
block
the distance,
against Tampa Bay, not the Bears, and that'll be half the distance. So it'll be an unusual situation for Vinny Testaverde, who has started out from the Bear 43 until now.
With Ford Tempo, you can enjoy available features like automatic transaxle, air conditioning, power mirrors, and speed control, plus one very special luxury.
You made reservations, right?
The luxury of knowing Ford Tempo offers all these features for a very attractive price.
Thanks. Keep the change.
Proving once again you don't have to be well-to-do to do it well.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Tempo.
Attention football fans. Get a free NFL warm-up jacket when you buy 10 rolls of pink insulation R19 or higher from, you know who. But hurry, offer ends October 15th.
We help more Americans go to college, and we issue more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. We're Citicorp and Citibank, America's largest financial services company. Whatever financial success you hope to achieve, whether it's business or personal, we can help you do it. And do it better than anyone else. Citicorp. Because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
This NFL Game Summary is sponsored by Citicorp. Because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had not much of an offense this year, but they're showing it so far with a big total yardage edge. Vinny Testaverde having perhaps the game of his life, and 2 Chicago turnovers have really hurt the Bears. 21-0 the score with 11:32 to go in the second quarter, and people would say, is this a Buccaneer victory? But of course, Ditka and the Bears, and you know better than that.
Well, there's a lot of time left to play, and I think that the Bears defense is going to have to come up with a big play here soon. They may have the opportunity. The Bucs are backed up to the 5-yard line, but the Bears offense is struggling so much right now that it's up to the Bear defense to come up with a play to get maybe some points on the board.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Bucs starting from the 5-yard line. William Howard is the lone running back. He gets the call. Out to about the 8-yard line. Dick Shapura and Mike Singletary on the stop for the Bears.
Real pressure situation for Testaverde here with his offense backed up. But it's interesting that he is having such an outstanding day against the Bears. You wouldn't expect him to. He's kind of been on a roller coaster so far this season. Played very, very well in his first game of the season against Green Bay, but then was down against the San Francisco 49ers. They won against New Orleans, and last week he was terrible. This week he's outstanding.
Up and down. 2nd and 7. Lars Tate. And I think it's important to point out here that even though the Buccaneers are putting the ball on top and up top and throwing more, that Ray Perkins says you just can't abandon the running game at all.
Well, especially at this part of the field where an interception gets the Bears right back in the ball game. I remember playing with the Chargers one January evening when we went up 24-0 on the Miami Dolphins in that playoff game, and we were feeling pretty good about ourselves. Somebody forgot to tell us that we still had 3/4 of the game to play.
Game ran a little too long for you.
Yeah, we had 4 quarters to play. We were only in the 3rd quarter.
Don Smith and James Wilder are in for the Buccaneers. Pass is caught. Will it be enough for the first down to Bruce Hill? Mike Singletary on the tackle. And it appears to be another Tampa Bay first down as they get out of trouble that time.
Bruce Hill had a miserable day last week against the Vikings. In fact, he's had a rough start this year. Last year, he and Carrier combined to form one of the better pass-catching duos in the league statistically. He's having an outstanding first half.
He has caught 4 passes for 73 yards, 41 of them on the big play of the day. First in for the Bucs on their 16. Double tight end with James Wilder in the backfield for the Bucs. The pass is intercepted. Jim Morrissey. There you go, Dan. There's the turnover that the Bear defense engineered.
Jim Morrissey was beaten earlier today where he had to make that pass interference, but here he is, number 51. He's going to drop back here and just make an outstanding grab as he tips the ball to himself. Working against the tight end, Ron Hall, there's an outstanding athletic move there by Morrissey.
James Wilder was the intended receiver. So as you said, the Bear defense gives the offense great field position. Thomas Sanders is in the backfield with Muster. First time the Bears have the ball in Tampa Bay territory. Sanders. Extra effort brings him to the 21 and a fumble.
They're going to say he was down there, but the fans here don't believe it.
They're riding a high right now. They don't want to believe it was down.
Official rule, forward progress, and blew the whistle. By rule, the ball belongs to the offense. Second down.
There you heard it from Bob McElwee.
The old forward progress rule here. He wasn't down, but his progress was halted, so the whistle was blown. Nice hole on the right side for the Bears as he spins and turns. Hard to tell where the ball pops out on that angle.
But they blew the whistle in any event, and it's still Bears ball. 2nd down and 4 on the Buccaneers 21. That 6-yard gain was the best run today by the Bears, believe it or not. Tomczak. And Gentry makes the reception inside the 10-yard line. Rod Jones on the tackle, gain of 15 for Chicago. And you can see Gentry urging his team on. They're trailing 21-0 here with 8:11 remaining in the first half as the Buccaneers have stung the Bears badly thus far. Tampa Stadium the scene. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts. The undefeated Bears trail. But they're trying to get back in the game on a 1st and goal here at the 6. Sanders. A yard, that's all, and Eugene Marv with a crunching hit.
It appeared that Brad Mustard should have blocked Marv there, but he let him go, and boy, Marv just punished the ball carrier.
The linebackers for Tampa Bay have been brilliant all season long. They have been the rock for this defensive team. All of them have played well.
They have, and Marv is the real leader there. He calls all the audibles, and he makes sure that everybody is in the right spot before the ball snaps.
On the 5, 2nd down. Tomczak trying to go to his tight end. Capozzo incomplete. Mark Robinson defending. That'll bring up a 3rd and goal.
Well, let's take a look at Mark Robinson, number 30, making this play against Bozo. This ball is well thrown, but because of the tight coverage by Hamilton, it had to be thrown out too far for Bozo to make the reception.
Off to a great start. Mark Robinson, he has an interception already in this game.
And that ties him with his buddy there in the secondary, Harry Hamilton, with 4 that leads the NFL. So they're making a lot of turnovers.
Neil Anderson is back in there with 4 wide receivers. Handoff to Anderson. And Anderson gets in for the Bears touchdown. Fifth touchdown rushing for Neil Anderson, who did a lot of that, if not all of that, on his own.
Well, especially at the end of this play, you're going to see Anderson get underneath Donnie Elder and Winston Moss and dive for the pylon in the corner of the end zone. Watch these 2 guys go right over the top. They miss him, and that's a touchdown for the Bears.
Kevin Butler. And the kick is good. So the turnover, the interception by Morrissey, set the Bears up, and Neil Anderson's 5-yard touchdown run puts Chicago back in business.
America's best-selling cars and trucks for the 3rd straight year. Ford, winning again.
Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The Fall Shopper Circular from True Value Hardware Stores is loaded with spectacular values, like the Empire Super Brute 18-inch Palmyra broom for just $7.49. The Sandvik 30-inch bow saw, just $4.99. is just the right size for pruning branches or cutting firewood. And a kit of fire extinguisher with bracket fights common household fires. It's only $8.44 in the Fall Shopper Circular from participating True Value Hardware Stores and Home Centers.
Left, foot left.
Last week's Miller Lite NFL Player of the Week was David Fulcher, making him eligible to be Player of the Year. Look for the next winner in Wednesday's USA Today and at the end of the season for the Miller Lite NFL Player of the Year.
You are going nowhere.
Will outside interests mark the end of a beautiful friendship for Jake?
I quit.
And the Fat Man, Wednesday.
All-American at the University of Florida, Neil Anderson coming back home, likes the heat here with a touchdown to put the Bears on the scoreboard. 21-7 the score. Kevin Butler will be kicking off. Donnie Elder to the top and Bobby Futrell to the right. Low kick. Elder will down it in the end zone for a touchback.
Neil Anderson gets a great block here from Tom Thayer. He's going to come out and knock down Mark Robinson at the beginning of this play. The Bucks are in their zone, in their nickel defense, because the Bears are in there with 4 wide receivers. This is just a sweep play to Neil Anderson as he goes to the right side. Here's the block by Thayer on Robinson. And now watch Anderson just duck his shoulder and get underneath Bobby Futrell and Donnie Elder.
The shaken-up player is Mickey Pruitt, who came in for one play when Mike Singletary was shaken up earlier in the first quarter. The scoring drive, and not a long one. It was after Morrissey's interception, 27 yards, but a big one for the Bears, who were stymied offensively to that point. But Mike Ditch's crew trailing only 21-7 and a lot of time remaining. 6:46 to go in the second quarter. Lars Tate. Bears have effectively stopped the Tampa Bay running attack in this first half. That was Mike Singletary on the stop, but again, they have to show run to set up the aerial game.
Well, but that's not how they started this ball game. That's not how they built up this 21-point lead. They built it by being anything but conservative. They built it by Testaverde throwing all those passes on first down. One thing they've got to do is to gain more than 2 or 3 yards on first down, or the pressure of the Bear defense is going to get to them sooner or later.
Ray Perkins using this game as a gauge as to how far his Buccaneers have come, playing one of the top teams. Testaverde and Don Smith, or that was Howard out of the backfield, drops the ball. He was wide open on the screen pass. Third down and 7 for Tampa Bay. The Giants continue to lead Philadelphia. Pittsburgh with a 7-6 lead over Cincinnati. Miami surprising Cleveland at Joe Robbie Stadium, and Minnesota over Detroit 10-7. Dallas, the surprising leader over Green Bay in the second quarter. Big game between the Bills and the Colts, and New England over Houston. There's another shocker. Third down and 7. 6 defensive backs for the Bears. John Roper is in as a down lineman, number 55. Up the middle, and another drop. This time it was Hill. Bruce Hill couldn't hold on, and Vesty Jackson was covering.
Yeah, I think that the Bears getting that touchdown really shook up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They come out, they don't get anything on first down, and then you see 2 drop passes. That gives me an indication that their confidence is a little shaky.
Chris Moore will be punting for the first time today. Dennis McKinnon goes back for Chicago. McKinnon. And a fine special teams tackle by Don Smith prevents any return from McKinnon following the 39-yard kick by Moore. So the Bears defense starts again.
Hi. Oh, I haven't seen you guys in so long. Well, we can never agree on a restaurant, right?
Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine.
Oh, a decision maker. Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's. I served this at my place. It was a big hit.
You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet.
Oh, come on. What? We finally found something we all agree on, you know? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Why is Ford Ranger America's most popular compact truck? For one thing, it has a 660 powertrain warranty and cast aluminum wheels. This Chevy doesn't. Oh, Ford Ranger has anti-lock rear brakes and electronic fuel injection. And Ranger has it all for less money than Chevy. You can bank on it. The toughest competition we have is ourselves.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Ranger.
You won't believe the shop vac. It comes with a surprise.
So where's the surprise?
In a minute. First, this baby picks up stuff like nails and glass, and like a regular shop vac, it also picks up water.
So where's the surprise?
Just watch. You twist the top, lift it off, and you've got a surprisingly powerful blowout.
And now ShopVac puts its power to work cleaning carpet stains with Spot Check. It turns any ShopVac into a powerful carpet cleaner. ShopVac. If it doesn't say ShopVac, keep shopping.
An SEC collision. Tommy Hodson pilots LSU against Reggie Slack and Auburn. Tiger meets Tiger next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts back at Tampa Stadium, where the Buccaneers lead 21-7 over the favored Bears. 5:38 to go in the second quarter. The Bears offense, not their defense, on the field now. Trying to cut in again to the Tampa Bay lead. Tomczak with time on first down, and McKinnon had it and lost it. And that'll bring up second down. Ball seemed to pop out of his hands, and Mark Robinson was defending.
Well, receivers often hear footsteps. Now, I'm not going to say that McKinnon heard footsteps on that one, but I think he was aware of Robinson because he had to cut back to get where the ball was, and as the ball was coming, so was Robinson, and I think it had to disturb Dennis McKinnon's concentration just a tad.
And I'm sure he saw a lot of Robinson in the films this week and saw that he's around the ball almost all the time. Tomczak, sack, fumble. Tampa Bay has it. Reuben Davis makes the recovery. And the third Chicago turnover of this game.
This is only the second sack of the year for Tomczak. Let's watch Kevin Murphy on the outside here on the right side, number 59, as he beats the block and he forces this fumble that Reuben Davis will cover. Part of the all-pro year that Kevin Murphy's having.
There's the man who recovered it, but it was Murphy who got through. And a first down for Tampa Bay on the Bears' 28. Testaverde tries to thread the needle. Incomplete. Bruce Hill, the intended receiver, and nearly intercepted that time by Dave Duerson.
One thing Testaverde's got to be careful. After you get a turnover, the worst thing in the world you can do is turn it back over to the other ball club. He got away with one there as Bruce Hill was finding the seam down the field, but that was a bullet that he really forced in there, and he's very fortunate Duerson didn't come up with that pick.
Well, after last week in which he short-armed and was short on a lot of the passes, it's good perhaps to see him zinging the ball.
He really is.
2nd and 10 at the 28. Tate, he'll have the first down. Duerson makes the play, but Lars Tate picks up 11. One of the more muscular running backs that we have seen, and not because he lifts weight so much.
Well, he does push-ups, and we asked him how many push-ups do you think he can do at one time. You know, I was figuring he would say 50, maybe 70. 105 without stopping. That's how he gets those guns.
I believe him. First down, Bucks on the Bears 17. And Rob Taylor might have drawn the Bears off, their right tackle, and that could be the call.
5 yards.
We haven't had many penalties in this game. We have 4:31 remaining in the first half. This was only the 4th penalty.
4 penalties and 4 turnovers. The turnovers are, of course, really the demoralizing effect for one side of the ball field here. The other side, when they get those turnovers, boy, it's a tremendous momentum builder.
Perkins has seen his team taking advantage of 1 of 2 turnovers by the Bears. It'll be 1st and 15 now. Testaverde up the middle, tipped, and again nearly intercepted. William Harris, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Mike Singletary got his hand on the ball, and Vesty Jackson nearly picked it off.
Actually, I think it's Jim Morrissey who gets the first deflection on it. Number 51 is working against William Harris right down the middle of the field, and Testaverde is going to the right man here. It's just that, well, it was Mike Singletary, Dick. You were absolutely right. And Vesty Jackson, he's probably kicking himself as much as I am for not making that interception.
Well, Morrissey had an interception already in this game.
But good drops by the Bear linebackers are getting back deep to make those plays.
Bucks have been fortunate. Second down. The pass. Drill. Touchdown. Bruce Hill. 22 yards, and the Buccaneers score again.
We talked about him short-arming last week. Well, this is a real drill shot here. Not many quarterbacks can get this one in there. Vinny Testaverde to Bruce Hill. He backs up into the end zone. Watch this reaction from Testaverde. He knew he threw a fastball, and he knows that it was a touchdown.
A far cry from last week's disaster against the Vikings. Now Donald Igwebuike with Chris Moore doing the holding. And it's 28-7 Tampa Bay. A big touchdown for the Buccaneers, answering the Bears' first score of the day. You wonder for Mike Ditka if this is going to be one of those days.
Well, that's his biggest concern coming into this ball game is, will the Bears have a letdown? They've played 3 outstanding football teams already this year in Houston, Cleveland, and the L.A. Rams. But beyond this week, they have, or actually those are the teams they've got to play, Houston, Cleveland, and the Rams in the next 3 weeks. And Ditka knows that ball players are human. They look at that schedule just as much as anybody else, and this is what he feared, a letdown.
And don't forget, he had Cincinnati and Philadelphia early in the season. Keep in mind, by the way, that in the last 4 years, Mike Ditka and the Bears have a record of 36-0 against teams that wind up the season under 500.
But this team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, may not end up under 500 this year.
You're right.
They are vastly improved.
Donald Igwebuike, and there's Mark Green, who's back there along with Dennis Gentry to receive the kick. 3 touchdown passes for Vinny Testaverde here in the first half. Picked up by the short man, Matt Suey. And Suey with a return up to the 36-yard line. Coming up at halftime, Brendan Irv with scores and highlights. And a conversation with Al Davis. Art Shell named coach this week, and Al Davis will talk more about that coming up at halftime.
I played against Art Shell for many, many years when he was with the Raiders and I was with the Chargers, and I got the pleasure of playing with him in a couple of Pro Bowls. and he is an outstanding person, and I wish him the best of luck head coaching the old Raiders there. That's hard for me to say, believe me.
Boy.
But good luck, Art.
Hope somebody taped this. First down on the 36. Neil Anderson. Superb running by Anderson. Breaks a couple of tackles, picks up 19 yards, and gets into Tampa Bay territory with Kevin Murphy making the stop finally.
Well, Anderson just shows tremendous patience as he looks for a hole to run through. Again, it's a sweep play with the underneath handoff. They are out in front. There's one little hole, and now he makes one guy miss, and now he's down the sideline, always stretching, making another guy miss. That's Robinson, who doesn't miss many.
With a lot of family and friends at this game, he says, I'm glad I only come down here once a year.
Yeah, he had to buy about 20 or 30 tickets.
First down at the Tampa Bay 45. And Tomczak kept the ball on a fake handoff and picks up a couple of yards. Winston Moss makes the stop on a great fake that time by Mike Tomczak.
Faked everybody but Winston Moss, and that's Moss's responsibility is to, as they say, stay at home, play your area on the football field. Jim Colbert was out in front. If he could have gotten a block on Moss, Tomczak might have had a nice game, but nice job by Moss just playing his responsibility.
That's why Broderick Thomas, the highly heralded rookie, remains on the sideline. Second down and 8. Tomczak completes to Thornton. James Thornton inside the 10-yard line, and a big Bears play. 34 yards with Rod Jones knocking him out of bounds.
The Bears talked in preseason about how they wanted to involve their two tight ends, Boso and Thornton, in the passing game more. Nice job of releasing off the line of scrimmage by Thornton, and this is a perfect pass by Tomczak right into those big hands, and now watch him get down the field. Ditka said that he brought out some old films of himself running with the ball after a catch to show Thornton how it's done. That's a pretty good example.
That's about how it used to get done by Mike Ditka.
Ditka invented the run after the catch for tight ends, that's for sure.
First and goal at the 9 of Tampa Bay. Play fake. Muster. And he gets inside the 5 where Irvin Randall makes the tackle. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. No timeouts have been used by either team.
And both teams are making the big play through the air. Testaverde's having an outstanding first half, and Tomczak's starting to rise to the challenge.
28-7, the Buccaneers lead, but the Bears are threatening to cut the lead in half to 28-14. Second and goal at the 4. Here's Neil Anderson. Gets about a yard. Eugene Marv, the inside linebacker. And 2 minutes now remain in the first half, and our 2-minute warning here. It'll be third and goal at the 2 when we come back to Tampa Stadium.
No place like America. Anywhere, every face tells a different story. But there's a taste we all share. America's meat and potatoes, quarter pounder on a TLC, golden fries made America's way. That's meat and potatoes, McDonald's USA.
A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. Put it out, it just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tenactin. It cures recovering athlete's foot. Use it regularly. It'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tenactin puts the fire out for good.
Just off Route 19 in St. Petersburg is a place where you can learn to ski the Alps and shoot the rapids all in the same building. At Bill Jackson Sporting Goods, you can practice everything from a stem Christie to an Eskimo roll. But if you go there, remember, bring your imagination and your Visa card. Because Bill Jackson doesn't promise you Sun Moritz, and he doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
2 minutes remaining in the first half at Tampa Stadium. In a stunning surprise, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the Chicago Bears 28-7. The Bears face a 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line. They have 2 wide receivers in there, in Wendell Davis and Dennis Gentry, and they have Anderson and Muster in the backfield and only 1 tight end.
Now, that gives me the impression that the Bears are going to go for it on 4th down if they don't make it with this play. Very important for them to get 7 points here to cut this lead in half.
Ray Perkins' defense has been equal to the task this year. Tomzak on the rollout, the shuffle pass, and Anderson is stopped short of the goal line. Harry Hamilton makes the stop on Anderson and saves the touchdown. And it's 4th down.
We've been talking about these safeties all day long, Harry Hamilton and Mark Robinson. Watch Hamilton come up with a big play here against Neil Anderson as he sneaks out of the backfield. There's the grab, but this is a perfect hit, just stopping him about, a yard from the touchdown.
Timeout called by the Bears, their first, and Hamilton and Robinson have starred today in the secondary for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they apparently are going for it as you had thought, on 4th and a yard.
Well, they burned a timeout there where they really didn't have to because the ball was out of bounds, but what they're doing right now in this huddle is they're making darn sure that this play that they have called, everybody understands. They will have to have the best execution possible. We've already seen some great goal line stands from the Bear defense.
Mike Ditka is not a happy man inside that huddle. There is Greg Landry with the cap on. He is the offensive coordinator who's done a really good job of opening up the Bears offense as well this season.
Well, they've scored a lot of points so far. They've really done an outstanding job with their offense, but they've never had to play when they were behind, and this is the first time, and Ray Perkins was very, very prophetic when he said, hey, I want to see how they play when they're behind.
Well, they're behind, and let's see how they play on 4th and less than a yard. Two tight ends. Neil Anderson, the back. Anderson going wide. He's in for the score. On 4th and 1, the Bears score a touchdown to make it 28-13. Neil Anderson with his 2nd touchdown of the game.
The Bears brought in extra offensive linemen also. Wojciechowski was in here, and Thayer moved to the left tight end spot. Now Muster is on the left wing there, and this is a lot of power up inside. They fake the ball up the middle, and then Anderson, all that is pure speed to the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
Kevin Butler with Tomzak holding. Buccaneers try to block that one. Couldn't, and the kick is good. So Neil Anderson has scored a touchdown, 2 of them today, and it's now a 28-14 Tampa Bay lead.
It's important, 34. Stand behind its 800 service and guarantee that your calls get through. We have a new AT&T 800 assurance policy which says a call must get through. If you're using AT&T's basic 800 service and all of a sudden there's a problem and you're not getting your calls, well, we can start to send those same calls to a regular telephone line right there in your office, and we can do that within an hour, guaranteed, get you back in service. We could probably do it.
Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts back at Tampa Stadium, where the Buccaneers have had their lead cut to 28-14. We told you there'd be some Bears supporters in the crowd, obvious ones.
Yes, very obvious, Dick. Thank you for pointing that out. They're in the cheap seats, though. The Hugh Culverhouse says that he has 30,000 great fans here in Tampa. Now, that seems to be a little bit of a slight to all the great fans here of the Buccaneers, but those are the 30,000 this season ticket holders here.
74,000 today. Donnie Elder and Bobby Futrell are back. It'll be a touchback. And Tampa Bay will start from the 20-yard line.
That'll be interesting to see the play selection that Perkins gives Testaverde here. There is enough time to mount some type of drive. The Bucs have 3 timeouts.
Most points the Bucs have ever scored at home in the first half ever. The 28 they have today against the Chicago Bears. And it was interesting that after the Bears had scored their touchdown, it seemed like the Bucs went into a lull. Testaverde was 0 for 4 with an interception at one time, and then all of a sudden started to click, and he hit Bruce Hill with a big 22-yard touchdown strike.
Well, the fumble from Tom Zach that Reuben Davis picked up really set the Bucs back on the right track, so to speak.
Tampa Bay has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Lars Tate, just a couple. Ron Rivera makes the stop, and now the Bears call a timeout. Their second timeout, hoping that they may get their hands on the ball once more in this first half. Timeouts remaining. The Bears 1. Tampa Bay has all 3 of theirs. Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator for Chicago.
And that's a smart thing for the Bears to do, because that adds more pressure to Ray Perkins and his play calling here. Because if they don't pick up enough yardage here and say there's an incompletion, the clock will stop. They still have 1 timeout. The Bears, if things continue as they are right now, should get the ball back before the end of the half, although they'll have no timeouts.
Interesting that the Tampa Bay offense, which had been pretty ineffective coming into this game, has done enough that they have scored more points already than the Bears have allowed this season. Bears had not allowed 28 points. The most points allowed by Chicago was 27 against the Detroit Lions.
And the Bucs have their most points they've scored all year is 23 against Green Bay. So they're working well today.
Testaverde completes to Tate, and he's down immediately at the 25 by Lemuel Stinson. And once again, the Bears will call the timeout. That is their 3rd and final timeout of this first half. Once again, Testaverde to the sideline. Rough day for Mike Ditka, and of course he had said that the team didn't really get it all together till Friday. And also at the same time, you mentioned the fact that the emotional victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, no one can stay emotionally high for 16 weeks of the season.
Well, and it's a Monday night game, so that adds to it. Plus there's the Buddy Ryan thing with Ditka, so the players are playing extra hard to not embarrass their head coach. But the one great thing about Mike Ditka's ball clubs, as we mentioned, he has an outstanding record against NFC Central teams. He has beaten this ball club 12 in a row, 10 straight over the Detroit Lions, and 8 straight over Green Bay. And he points to the fact of last year that the Minnesota Vikings would have won the Central Division crown if they had beaten the Green Bay Packers twice, something they didn't do.
3rd down and 5 at the 25. John Roper, pass rushing linebacker, number 55, is in on the left side. Testaverde may have enough for the first down. It appears he does. He had to get to the 31 or 30, and he did. Steve McMichael makes the tackle. It's a first down.
Real good pressure from Richard Dent, number 95, working on the outside this time against Gruber. And Testaverde does the thing a quarterback has to do, is step up into the pocket, give his offensive lineman a chance to push the guys by, and then he shows the type of athlete he is, picking up that first down.
He was a pretty good baseball player and not a bad basketball player as well. First down on the Bucs 32. Testaverde under huge pressure, including the refrigerator. Incomplete. Dent also in on the play. Bruce Hill was the intended receiver, but this may be the best pressure that the Bears put on Vinny all day.
And I guarantee you this will be the last pass that he'll throw this first half. If I know Ray Perkins, 36 seconds to go, and the Buccaneers need about 68 yards to get in the end zone. I think this is going to be a couple of handoffs, and that'll be it. But I'm standing up here. He's down on the field.
Willie Drury will come in as a third wide receiver. Second down and 10. And the pass nearly intercepted. And it was Lorenzo Lynch who nearly picked off the ball. It was intended for Bruce Hill. And that would have been interesting, Dan, because you didn't think they would throw again. And if the Bears had picked that off and Lynch came awfully close to doing it, they would have been in Tampa Bay territory. Not much time, but they would have had a shot.
Well, the other thing is that Butler would be kicking a field goal with this wind. It's gusting at about 15 miles an hour, and it will be at the Bears' back if and when they kick a field goal.
There's the Refridge, who is working up front with Shapura and McMichael, alternating the tackle. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10. Testaverde incomplete. He was going for Mark Carrier, and that'll bring up 4th down with 26 seconds remaining.
And that ball was just off the fingertips of Vesty Jackson, so Testaverde is coming close to getting picked off here.
Is Mike Ditka wiping his brow because it's hot and humid down there, or it's because his team trails by 2 touchdowns? Maybe both.
Well, I think there's only 3 people in this entire stadium that are wearing a tie and a long-sleeve shirt. We're 2, he's the other one.
Here's Chris Moore, the punt. Mark Green. And the Bucs will down it at the Chicago 40. That kick went over only 28 yards. Odie Harris downed it. 17 seconds remain and no timeouts for Mike Tomczak and the Bears. Trail 28-14. Vinny Testaverde with touchdown passes to Mark Carrier, William Harris, and Bruce Hill. Neil Anderson has scored 2 touchdowns for the Bears. Bucs getting into their prevent defense, sending their safeties way back. Butrell and Elder. Extra backs. Tomczak up the middle for McKinnon, and it's tipped away. Harry Hamilton. Now there are 11 seconds remaining. What a first half for both Hamilton and Robinson, the 2 Penn State safeties, who, as you said, came in as the leading interceptors in the NFL and done a lot more against the Bears.
Well, they're really intelligent guys. They know each other. They've played since they were in college, as you said, at Penn State, and you really can't give enough importance to that because there's a communication that goes on out on the field that often isn't verbal. Sometimes you just have a feel for where your buddies are, and obviously Hamilton and Robinson have that.
Hamilton playing with a bad right ankle as well. Second down. Morris makes a fine catch. It'll be a first down, but the clock now will run out. Ron Morris made the reception, but that is the end of the first half with the score. The Buccaneers 28, the Bears 14. Elder is on the left. And the second half is underway, and it'll be Donnie Elder at the 10. Held upright at the 23 by Maurice Douglas.
Held upright. They won't let him get down on the ground. They all had his feet off the ground and holding him back.
They were holding him up as if he were a trophy.
Well, the Bears are used to trophies, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to work to get one today, though.
Tampa Bay going on offense. Passing game worked for them. Several long gainers through the air in the first half. They'll start this First drive of the second half from their own 24-yard line. There's Mike Singletary, the man in the middle. William Howard and Lars Tate, the running back. Howard gets a yard, if that much. William Perry on the stop. In the lineup is Tony Woods, number 65, who replaced Trace Armstrong, who went out in the first quarter with an ankle injury. We'll check his condition when we find out. Second down and 8. Testaverde's pass nearly caught by Bruce Hill on a pass behind him. Lemuel Stinson defending on the play.
You know, last couple of passes for Testaverde, the end of the first half, and now his very first pass. You see, he's important to himself, talking to Hill, saying, hey, listen, that ball was my fault. He's been off the target just a little bit. He's almost as if he's playing with fire here in the way he's throwing the ball. He's forcing it into coverage, and he's getting away with a couple.
David Tate and Lorenzo Lynch are the extra backs for the Bears on 3rd and 8. Testaverde lost his footing. Now he goes down. First sack of the game by the Bears. John Roper.
Well, it must have been an interesting talk at halftime that Ditka gave his ball club, because they came out and the defense will turn the ball over to the offense in just 3 plays. Good pressure there as McMichael and Roper, and now Singletary cleans up on Testaverde for the first sack of the day.
Chris Moore will punt on 4th down, and Mark Green goes back for the Bears. Green at his 30. And a good return by Mark Green, the Notre Dame rookie, 17 yards back to the 47, where Broderick Thomas makes the stop. And a few tempers flaring a bit out there. Interesting that Dennis McKinnon has not returned punts lately, and it may be because as a receiver, he has to play so much. The heat factor commands that Green would be back.
Well, McKinnon is one of the more dangerous returners in the league, and I know that Ditka would like to have him back there more, but you got a rookie like Green that is trying to make the ball club and contribute any way he can. He's not going to give up that spot without a fight.
Thornton is in the slot. On the wing on the right, first down Bears. Pitches to Neil Anderson. Anderson gets into Tampa Bay territory and nearly gets a first down. Short by 1.5 yards. Irvin Randall and Rod Jones combined to bring down Anderson.
Wonderful job by Thornton as he comes in motion on this play, and he seals off the left side here. Here's Thornton, number 80, on the left side here. And watch as he goes in motion and gets this block on Winston Moss, and then allows Anderson, who really set up the block beautifully with a little dip there, and he gets around the corner and picks up 9.
Second down and 1 on the Tampa Bay 45. Here's Anderson again. He's got the first down. Dives to the 40. Eugene Marv makes the stop, and the Bears starting off the second half in Chicago Bear football the way Ditka likes it.
Very determined football. Again, the Bears put the tight end in motion. This was Boso that time, and they seem to be working against the left side of the Buccaneers defense there. Robert Goff and Winston Moss trying to stay away from Kevin Murphy, who's making a lot of big plays for Tampa.
John Wojciechowski has now replaced Mark Bortz at left guard for the Bears. A severe sprained ankle for Trace Armstrong, the defensive player, has not returned. The only injury today for Chicago. First and 10 on the Bucs 40. Wide receiver screen. Anderson. And Neil Anderson has another first down inside the Bucs 30. Again, Irvin Randall, and a gain of 12 for the Bears. Crisp offense, and
and well-designed offense, Dick. That was really a sharp play as they put one wide receiver in motion to the other wide receiver's side and then dumped the ball out to Anderson on a quick screen. But when he got the ball, both those receivers were blocking the defensive backs, and that's why they got that nice gain.
How valuable is it to have receivers who block well?
Very well, very valuable. I think that any time you can get the ball to a guy like Anderson out in the perimeter and get a blocker in front of him, he's very dangerous.
On the 28, the pitch again to Neil Anderson. Anderson powers inside the 20. The heat doesn't bother him. Close to another first down, and it will be for the Bears. Harry Hamilton, the free safety that time on the tackle.
One of the outstanding characteristics of Neil Anderson running the ball is how he accelerates through a little seam in the defense. We're going to take a look at it right here. Watch this little tiny hole, and he just lowers his shoulder enough to break the tackle, and he's flying up through there.
Basic football by the Bears, and Neil Anderson has gained 23 yards in the last two plays. And a first down for Chicago on the 17. Bucs lead 28-14. The Bears look threatening. Anderson. That time he was upended after a yard by Reuben Davis.
This is a very impressive drive the Bears are putting on. And talking with Neil Anderson yesterday about the effects of the heat and humidity, he played, of course, at the University of Florida. His message to his fellow offensive teammates is, listen, guys, this is going to be a real gut check. You're going to have to concentrate out there and know that you're only going to be out on that field for 30 minutes at the most while you're actually playing. So if you can't get it done in those 30 minutes, then we're in real trouble. So dig down deep in the old gut bucket and pull it out.
Thomas Sanders and Matt Suey. And Sanders in motion. Contact and wide open for the touchdown to Sanders. 16 yards.
This is Sanders in motion at the top of the screen here, and he's going to go and run a post pattern. The Bucs are in a zone defense, but their weak safety was pulled out of the middle of the field by the play action to the weak side, and Sanders gets into the end zone for the touch.
Kevin Butler will try to bring the Bears to within 7. (28-21). Tampa Bay lead has been cut to 7. Thomas Sanders, the backup, but a talented backup, with a wide-open touchdown reception.
I think they should have signs that help us. Have signs that, like, slow down, cop hiding behind building. Young man, you're in big trouble. I hate that when they ask you.
Do you know how fast you were going?
No, you know, I know why. I said, how about you? You had to catch up with me. I was driving down the street, and I saw a sign. It said, slow down, road coming to an end. What am I slowing down for? Oh, well, we'll go off the cliff slowly.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Oh, I love what is it the wrong way. How do they know where I'm going?
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go? Frankly, nobody knows.
Open your eyes up!
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will ya? Come on! I got it. I got it. I got it. It was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this.
Come shining through.
Thomas Sanders getting some repair work after his first touchdown catch of the year, and it's 28-21 now in favor of Tampa Bay with a lot of time, 9:31 remaining in the third quarter. Kevin Butler. On the left is Donnie Elder, Bobby Futrell lining up on the right. Bears have beaten the Bucs 12 times in a row. That's the longest current streak in the league. And this one is wide open. Elder at the 5. And doesn't get past the 10. Or if he did, not by much. David Tate and Lorenzo Lynch rode him out of bounds.
We'll take a look at this touchdown from the end zone. Watch how this little action of Tomczak going to this side affects Harry Hamilton here. He's got to be in the middle of the field, but he fades to this side before he recovers. Just a little sprint out to the left brings Hamilton to his right, opens up the middle of the field for Thomas Sanders.
And now the Bucs will start from their 10. Testaverde has Mark Carrier. That'll be a first down for Tampa Bay beyond the 20. Lemuel Stinson made the stop. He caught the first touchdown pass today from Testaverde, Mark Carrier, and he gained 12 that time. First down on the 21. Testaverde and Hill can't hold on. The pass is incomplete. Covering was Ron Rivera, the linebacker. Big day at Tampa Stadium, one of the few sellouts the Buccaneers have enjoyed. Over 74,000 fans for the annual invasion of the Chicago Bears. The Buccaneers led at one point 28-7, but the Bears have come back with 2 scores to tighten this one up at 28-21. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts with 8:35 to go in the third quarter. On 2nd and 10, Testaverde has Howard, and he goes down immediately for virtually no gain. Ron Rivera was covering him.
Well, we're getting answers to our questions about what type of offense the Bucs are going to play here in the second half. Perkins isn't calling anything in. He's letting it rip with Testaverde. But the Bears are making some nice adjustments in their secondary. They're not giving him the big play down the field. They're forcing him to come to his check down receivers, as he did that time to William Howard.
3rd down and 9, and the Bears bring in their nickel backs. James Wilder and Don Smith join Testaverde in the shotgun. The pass is caught. Willie Drury, and that's the first down, and that's his first catch of the year.
He's going to celebrate a little bit, too, isn't he? He dropped a couple last week against the Vikings, but this is a great square-in route. And Testaverde, again, that offensive line is making amends for their showing last week against Minnesota, doing a super job of keeping the Bears away. And there's a nice square route. That's why they call it a square in, because after you get down the field, you got to square it off, come right across the middle, and Testaverde throws another strike.
Former Houston Oiler with his first catch and a big one, 18 yards. Stinson was on the stop. 2 tight ends and Wilder in the backfield on first down. Testaverde can't get away from Richard Dent's jersey pull, and a penalty marker is down on the far side of the field.
The ball belongs to the offense.
Bob McElwee. Defensive holding, Chicago.
I think they got Jim Morrissey out there on the flank, a long way away from where Richard Dent made a sack.
Holding, number 24, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Bestie Jackson was holding downfield. And it's a first down for the Buccaneers. But we have not mentioned Richard Dent's name today as far as the pass rushing is concerned. That was a man that the Buccaneers were worried about, and the offensive line and the backs have kept him at bay.
Well, we talked about how the Bucs offensive line, especially Paul Gruber last week, had a tough time dealing with Chris Dolman. Dent is every bit of Dolman's equal, and Gruber's having an outstanding afternoon so far.
James Wilder on the pitch. Wilder gets close to midfield. Just a role player now for the Buccaneers. Used to be their workhorse.
Well, that holding penalty really hurt Chicago because they were in great shape there. Going to get the ball back on a punt, perhaps, and instead it's first down at midfield, and now the Bucs pick up 5 on first down, something they want to do.
And that third down pass to Drury for 18 yards was a big one. 2nd and 5 at midfield. 2 tight ends again for the Bucs. Up the middle, Jackie Walker, I believe. Nope, that was Harris, William Harris. That'll be a first down, though, for the Buccaneers to the Bear 42. Jim Morrissey on the stop. And the miseries continue for Mike Ditka, who thought that he had the Bucs hemmed in on their own 10.
But again, Ditka knows that we've got better than 5 minutes to go in just this third quarter. He's got to be happy with the way his offense came out and got 7 points on the board on their first drive of the second half.
Carrier goes in motion. And Testaverde, incomplete. Jackie Walker was the intended receiver that time. And a good rush was put on by Rivera of the Bears.
Nice job of Testaverde retreating in the pocket, keeping away from Rivera, and then making the proper decision of just grounding the ball. He did have a receiver in the area, so there was no penalty.
How do you read Testaverde, a guy who's looked awfully shaky in a lot of games? He looks like he's been a 5-year veteran in this one.
This is the best I've seen him play.
18 of 30 for over 200 yards. Second and 10. Wide open. Looks like Mark Carrier, and it is for another Buccaneer first down. Jackson on the tackle. 16 yards.
Outstanding athlete at quarterback today in Vinny Testaverde. The rush comes from number 76, Steve McMichael. Nice job of stepping up. Then watch this throw. He's running to his left, and he flicks it back over the middle. There's Carrier for the first down.
Mark Carrier with 5 catches. Bruce Hill also has 5 receptions today. So the starting wide receivers for the Buccaneers are going to town against the Bears defense. And Tampa Bay will call their first timeout of the second half. 4:07 remaining in the third quarter. Mike Singletary frustrated, like many of the Bears.
Over the past decade, all other lines of cars have led Mercedes-Benz in one crucial category: depreciation. Which proves that sometimes great cars finish last. Mercedes-Benz, the resale legend.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son. It's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Actra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
Do it yourself. Do it for yourself. Do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
Wood finish for beautiful color like no other, and Minwax polyurethane for fast-drying protection that lasts.
Do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
By signing up now in the Army's delayed entry program, any skill training I choose is mine when I graduate. Guaranteed.
Be all that you can be. Get it on life in the Army.
in Nashville. It's country music's biggest night. Join your hosts, Kenny Rogers and Ann Murray, for the 23rd Annual Country Music Awards.
Tampa Bay has used one of their timeouts. They want to make this a good one. They have a first down on the Bear 26, leading 28-21. Ron Hall and William Harris, double tight ends. Testaverde on the rollout, and the pass is intercepted. Jim Morrissey, that's the second of the game. Second interception of the game for Jim Morrissey, and the Bears get it back.
Good pressure up the middle as the Bears come with the blitz. Force Testaverde out of the pocket. There's Singletary right up the middle with Durson. And now Testaverde makes a cardinal mistake of throwing the ball over the middle late, and an outstanding layout interception by Jim Morrissey. He showed me a lot as far as what type of athlete he is today. His first interception, he had to jump high and deflect the ball down to himself. This time he does a Greg Louganis out there on the field and makes the interception.
With a degree of difficulty pretty high.
Yeah, you bet.
A 9-5. Roger Riley, our statistician, informs us. He must know. First down on the 16. Contact. Wide open was Neil Anderson. First down, Chicago, in a gain, that time of 12. Rod Jones covering.
We're really seeing the type of new age running back in Neil Anderson. Here's a guy that has the ability to be a 1,000-yard rusher out of the backfield, but he has also showed his versatility today and his importance to this offense by splitting out wide and becoming a wide receiver. That's two fine plays he's made as a wide receiver.
Talk about Dickerson and Roger Craig and some of the others. If he's not their equal, he's awfully close. Here's Neil Anderson again. Crosses the 30 and a pickup of about 3.
Well, what Anderson gives you is he makes that first guy miss almost every time. That time, Reuben Davis had him dead in his sights and a little shake of the hips, and Anderson's down the field.
56 yards and 2 of the 3 touchdowns scored by the Bears this afternoon. Pickup of 4. It'll be second down and 6 for Chicago. 2:45 remaining in the third quarter. Contact. Fires it away, and Thornton had it and then lost it. Eugene Marv covering down the field, hit him, and now making sure that Thornton's all right. Something you don't often see.
This appears to be a cramp in his calf muscle. You see him pulling on his toes there, trying to straighten out the muscle there. And that's one thing that happens very often in this heat and humidity in Tampa is the opposing teams come in here and they cramp up.
There's no question that the heat has had some kind of an effect on the Bears today. We saw that with Dent earlier on a pass rushing situation and others. They had to leave the game. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 6. Not a good pass from center. And Tomzak is caught. Winston Moss. But a defensive Tomzak, he didn't get a good snap that time.
Tomzak hurt the Buccaneers last year with his scrambling from center. Here he does a nice job of catching this bad snap, but the Bucs are waiting for him as he breaks the line of scrimmage. Winston Moss with another big play.
It is 4th down, and Maury Buford will kick it away. Bobby Futrell deep for the Buccaneers. Kick nearly blocked, and they do not drop the flag. Here is Futrell at the 15. And he's brought down by Glenn Kozlowski. The official came very close to throwing a flag for running into the kicker, but he didn't. 51-yard kick by Buford.
If you look beneath the surface, invariably, the best will come shining through. Smooth, never bitter Miller beer.
Why that man of Miller beer, the best comes shining through.
Recently, Road and Track magazine concluded a search for the world's 5 best cars. After exhaustive testing and analysis, they chose 4 exotic sports cars. And even more significantly, only 1 sedan. The Mercedes-Benz 300E.
Send up a crowfoot. Give me an Applejack.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work
Give me
here.
a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
An SEC collision. Tommy Hodson pilots LSU against Reggie Slack and Auburn. Tiger meets Tiger next Saturday on CBS Sports.
The Bears have had a couple of close calls go against them today. This appears to be running into the punter. Right here, Buford is off the ground, and there's the contact. And now watch the official, Bob McElwee, point, and his right hand was grazing his back pocket, looking for the flag. Maybe he whiffed on the flag.
Looked like they got him. Buccaneers first down on their 24. Lars Tate runs into a stone wall led by William Perry, who is a stone wall. There's the time remaining in the third quarter. The Bears having to do without Dan Hampton and his leadership and his ability to draw double teams, and the fact that he's been one of the outstanding defensive tackles and inside pass rushers throughout his career. Second down and 9. Testaverde as Harris hit by Singletary at the 30s. It'll be third down and about 4 now for the Buccaneers.
Bears have made a significant change in the way they're playing pass defense now. They've been burned by the 2 wide receivers of the Bucs, Carrier and Hill. Well, they're double covering them now with a man short and a safety over the top. They're telling Testaverde, you're going to have to beat us throwing to your tight ends or to your backs out of the backfield.
So they're taking away the wide receivers. Third down and 4 on the 30. Willie Drury is the third wide receiver. Nickelbacks for Chicago. Testaverde's pass incomplete. It was intended for Drury. David Tate and Vesty Jackson defending on the play in good pressure.
Good pressure from the fridge up front there against Testaverde. I think he hit his arm as he was releasing the ball, and it appears that Testaverde is holding his right arm as he goes off the sidelines.
It'll be fourth down. Perkins making sure Testaverde's all right. Chris Moore will be punting for the Buccaneers. Mark Green goes back for the Bears. Great kick by Moore. Green back to his 13. And runs out of bounds at the 28 as time runs out in the third quarter. That is the end of the third quarter here at Tampa Stadium with the score, the Buccaneers 28 and the Bears 21.
At the end of the third quarter.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
knows baseball.
Bo knows football. Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows tennis?
No. Bo knows weight. Bo, you don't know diddly.
It's 8:47. It's 22 degrees. And Andy Cavanna's father is learning all about his antifreeze.